So Beth, what is brand strategy? Why is it so important?
So I guess to understand why brand strategy is important, you should start with what a brand is. And I think we always talk about brand as the kind of culmination of perceptions around your company. So what's the kind of gut feel that people have when they think about your business? And that could be your internal stakeholders, so your own staff. It could also be external stakeholders like clients and people that you work with in your supply chain, for example. So a strong brand strategy will kind of touch on every aspect of the way you run your business. So it kind of helps you to define your goals. It helps you to set your tone of voice, the way you look, the way you act, the way your employees speak to your customers, or the way you make massive business decisions. If you've got your goals set, your values underlining them, and your purpose, that really guides the way you run your business. So that's kind of where we see a brand strategy being important. And also for purpose-driven businesses, we think it's extra important. We put purpose at the center of all our strategies, and it really helps you kind of use that Northern Star as your driving force. So with all that in mind, what was the aim of creating the Brand Strategy Essentials course?
So we really wanted to put something together where we could help the smaller purpose-driven businesses who are just starting out and who don't really have the budget to engage a consultancy like us for thousands of pounds. So we distilled all of our brand strategy knowledge and the workshops that we do into an online course that we think we've positioned in a way that it's accessible for every business, no matter how small they are. So Beth, who did we make the Brand Strategy Essentials course for?
So I suppose what you've just said, it's about those smaller micro businesses that wouldn't necessarily be able to afford kind of tailored consultancy. But I think it's got quite wide ranging of kind of use to lots of different types of people. So, you could be a larger company, you could be a marketing manager who wants to upskill in the kind of strategy end, or use a framework, I guess, to encourage the rest of your team to get involved. You could be a startup who is just looking for a kind of DIY version at this kind of stage before they get future funding. And I think it's also for people who are interested in just upskilling in what strategy is, creatives, for example, who want to kind of improve the strategic end of their practice. So I think it's got a lot of different use cases. Okay, so I am someone who's interested in the course. I click on Gumroad, I download the course. How does it work? What do I get?
So interestingly, the course actually started with the creation of 6 or 7 minute long videos that we made before we decided to make the course. We were making a series of videos for our YouTube channel about Brand Strategy Essentials, the 7 major bits of it. And then the workbook, which is a downloadable PDF, is full of a series of exercises. I think there's about 7 or 8 exercises in there, ranging from some creative thinking exercises to analysing some existing successful brands and trying to pick out what you think, is good about that in terms of their positioning statement, their value proposition and all this kind of stuff. And there are, question prompts which aim to guide you towards creating a concise statement for your own business. And, when the workbook's complete, we really hope that people will be left with, as the course name implies, brand strategy essentials that they can take forward to improve their business. So Beth, what are your biggest tips for anyone taking the course?
So I think the first tip that I would have is try, if you can, don't do it alone. I think if you're a bit of a bigger company, then get your senior leadership team together, get into a room. 2 heads are better than one. If you're a one-man band, then just, speak to your friend, your neighbour, your mum, whatever it is, because you need someone else to bounce your ideas off. It's, when done well with integrity, it's a really intensive process. And I think that's very, very difficult to do by yourself. And then I think the other tip I would say is don't rush it. Spend some time preparing. So one of the first bits we've got before you actually get started on the kind of exercises in the different sections, we've given some ideas on preparation. So, that's researching your target audience, researching your sector, and doing an audit of your brand as it currently exists. And I think that bit, the more work you put into that bit, the easier the exercises that come afterwards will be. And when you get to the exercises themselves, you know, take one section, work through it, leave it to kind of, I don't know, simmer, see how it works, test it on people, whatever the output might be, and then move on to the next section. Don't think you're going to get this all done in a week, because your head will explode.
So Beth, what are the most common mistakes that you see businesses make when developing their brand strategy?
So I think the number one mistake is when people do all of this hard work, you know, whether it's with us, whether it's through a few days of workshopping, or whether it's doing a course like this. They do all that hard work, all that thinking, and then they put it in a folder on their computer and they never really think about it again. So to me, brand strategies, the activation part, the bit that comes after all this work is probably harder, which is not something most people want to hear. But, you know, how do you bring your values to life? How do you enact them in your day-to-day? How do you communicate your purpose to your staff and to, I guess, your clients? It's when you start doing that work that you realise the power of the brand strategy. So throughout the course, we've actually kind of tried to bring that to life. We've got little exercises that encourage you to think about how you're actually going to use this in your kind of day-to-day running of the business. And then number 2 is very much linked to that, and that's not getting the rest of your team involved early enough. So if you are a business of, say, 10 to 20 people, you need your employees on side. You need them aligned. You need, from the top down, everyone agreeing that this is the best thing to do. You need to explain why. Without their buy-in, the strategy won't work, and it's basically a pointless exercise. Some of the best companies that we've worked with take it very seriously. You know, we've run workshops with members of various different teams, people that you might not expect in there. It could be the CFO, the CEO, and someone who runs HR and a marketer. And it's when you bring these different types of people together that you get the best kind of results, and they help disseminate the work into the rest of the team. Okay, so we've got a whole host of people that are persuaded. Where do they go from here? How do they enroll on the course?
So it's super easy. The course is fully online. It's available on a platform called Gumroad, and you just make a free account. It takes a minute tops. Buy the course, which we've positioned at a very affordable price deliberately so that any business of any size can take it. And the videos are online. You download the workbook as a PDF and work your way through it. And of course, it's important to say that if anyone completes the course and is still struggling a bit, the Avery Brown team is always on hand to answer any questions or provide more bespoke consultancy